I want to begin with a bizarre event on a street that now is at the center of the true crime universe. North 4th Street in Columbus, Ohio. Until last night, North 4th was Spencer and Monique Tepe Street. They lived at 1411 with their 2 small kids, and as you probably know, they were shot to death in the early morning hours of December 30th. The kids and the family dog were left unharmed in that bloodbath. We have played you a string of increasingly frantic calls to 911 from the morning that the Tepes were found dead, right? We have played you the bizarre back and forth between a 911 dispatcher and an unknown female who called the police from inside the Tepee house back in April and then abruptly hung up. The dispatcher called back, but the crying woman insisted she didn't need and didn't want help after all. A relative at the Tepee says that was definitely not Monique Tepe on that call. But tonight there is yet another piece of the puzzle. On December 19th, that's 11 days before the murders, a neighbor of the Tepes called 911, 2:31 a.m., right in the window. And she said someone was, quote, smashing and, quote, banging on her door and wouldn't leave. Take a listen.
What's the emergency?
Somebody's knocking on my door. They're trying to get in. They're banging on my door.
Okay, someone's banging and knocking. Do you know who this is?
No.
Do you have a description of them?
No, I can't see anything.
Have you told them, have you asked them what they want or if they need something?
No.
According to the dispatch logs, the quote-unquote problem left at 2:44 a.m., which means that the neighbor of the Tepes dealt with 13 minutes of this kind of terrifying behavior. Her address is said to be a 3-minute walk just up the street on North 4th. And to be clear, no one in authority at this point is linking this episode to the murders, at least not publicly. They're not. In fact, when it comes to being public, the authorities haven't said much of anything for 9 straight days. Apart from releasing that little bit of surveillance video showing a person of interest, that's what they call him, a person of interest in the alley behind the victim's house. Police say there were no signs of forced entry in the house. There was no murder weapon either, though they did find 9mm shell casings. I'm going to stop right here and run all of this past an expert. Jennifer Coffindaffer is a retired FBI agent and friend of the show. And before I get to all that stuff, Jennifer Coffindaffer, thank you for joining. You've got some news that you have discovered just by means of Google. What do you have?
Well, I tell you what, this was something that I used a lot in the Brian Kohberger Idaho 4 case. And basically, it's looking at trending on Google. In other words, who's being Googled? When are they being Googled in connection with a particular homicide? So, for instance, on the Brian Kohberger, somebody was Googling Brian Kohberger before anybody ever knew that name. And I believe that was Brian Kohberger Googling himself right after those murders up until he was arrested. In this particular situation, I noticed that somebody is Googling or Googled 1411 North 4th that you just spoke about many, many times. In fact, the peak amount of times, even compared to after the murders, before the murders on December 5th. And I found that very interesting. Why?
Yeah, to say the very least, before the murders, a lot of Google. I can only wonder, Jen, if it might have been the parties, because they were said to hold a lot of parties. I will say this, the brother-in-law who spoke with us on this program, who said that's not my sister-in-law's voice on the 911 call, he did walk back the fact that there was no party that night. He'd said there was a party that night. He's now checked his calendar and he said it was wrong. But they had parties all the time. Is it possible it could have been all the party goers Googling to find it, or are they using the address to Google?
Well, I thought it might have been. But then when I looked back at a party we know about, which is that party back in April with the phone call you spoke about, you don't see that trending. So in other words, it's not the number that you see, it's the percentage that you see. And this is the highest percentage even after the murders. So somebody was really looking at all the information related to that address. In addition, if you look on November 30th, Dr. Tepee he was actually Googled a huge percentage as well. All I'm saying is that law enforcement, and I'm sure they're already doing that, is looking at who actually committed those Google searches. Because if somebody assisted in this crime that was more of a professional, Ashleigh, they would want to know everything they could about Dr. Tepee and that address well in advance.
Yeah, it makes sense. What do you make of this 911 call that we're now hearing down the street? Same time frame, middle of the night, somebody banging and crashing around at their door and terrifying them for 15 minutes.
Right. Two things. First of all, this area that they're in is not a good area, Ashleigh. It's surrounded by some of the worst gangs and drugs and crime problem in that city. And they're, of course, trying to revitalize it and get it to be a really nice, yuppie neighborhood. So because the modus operandi, if you will, seems to be different, although that time frame is significant, you can bet law enforcement is going to look at that. I don't think it's going to be related.
I am wondering, based on what you just said, if it's possible that this was a case of mistaken identity. Some drug gang going to take out vengeance on someone they thought they knew and they got the wrong house. Is that a possibility, given how unique this house is and given, you know, how upscale it is?
I don't think with the Tepees, and let me say why. Working gangs for all of those years, this is just not how gangs operate. They come in force, they come in more than one. If it's an initiation or something like that, they are going to spray and pray with those bullets they're going to fire, and they're going to leave that house a complete mess. You would have heard that dog barking. You see how close those houses are together. Why wasn't Larry barking up a storm with this? Again, I think it's going to be somebody familiar.
That's a good point. Dogs don't bark necessarily at people who are familiar, and we don't have reports of neighbors saying the dog was barking. We did have that in the Brian Kohberger case at 1122 King Road. That's coming up a little bit in the show. We're going to talk about that. But I want to ask you about the 9mm shell casings that were found. What are the police doing with those? Because those can be a wealth of information.
They really can be. There were 3 found. So, you know, right away, we know there were 3 bullets. We also know that there was 1 that was in Monique and 2 in Dr. Tepee, right? Because by process of elimination, he was shot, police said, more than once. So that is a wealth of information. I find it very interesting that the casings were left behind, Ashleigh. That tells me something in and of itself. Maybe this person was very good with guns, but not really a professional.
Yeah, that's what I always think. If they're sloppy, they're either idiots or they had to make a quick getaway. Does this scream stranger or someone they knew?
It really screams at this point somebody known to them, somebody who particularly targeted them. And let me say why I say that. First of all, lack of forced entry. The second thing is that code, you know, that's used to get in. Imagine all the people that might have known that code with their wedding being held there, all these parties being held there. Again, we talked about Larry not barking. We talked about the fact that they could go in sort of undetected and seem to be very familiar, Ashleigh, with all those cameras you talked about last night. All of that adds up to somebody familiar with them and the property.
Well, Jen, I hope that they're doing a lot more behind the scenes than it appears out here, because it's been crickets from this police department in Columbus. Come back on the show. Thank you for this. I appreciate it, Jen.
Thank you, Ashleigh.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.